Sky Squad, we are back in the building and we are still recovering from Saturday night's love and marriage extravaganza. Owns Saturday nights, okay? And in this episode, we're going to be recapping everything that happened on the Nightcap with Carlos King. Thus, I'm still in my robe, okay? The Nightcap robe, get it? Anyway, listen, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that notification bell button, hit the subscribe button. Be sure to join the texting community at 202-918-3386. And also visit amirin.com and get your CMOS capsules at 40% off using code WANDA. I'm not going to leave this discount code up for much longer, so go ahead and grab your stuff, okay? Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the tea, okay? And tea was definitely spilled last night, okay? So, hmm. The first thing that we get into is how Latisha found out that Kiki was going to be on the show this season. Very, very interesting. So, Latisha says Kiki apparently said this, that Melody called her because they have a mutual friend. And the friend said, you should try to get Kiki on the show because I know she really wants to be a part of the show. Like she has never been part of the show before. But okay. So apparently Melody called her and told her she would love for her to be an additional cast member on the show. This is giving me very much Teresa and Melissa vibes from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Do you guys think that Latisha is annoyed that Kiki ended up on the show in this way? Do you guys feel like there's maybe some threat to Latisha with Kiki coming on the show, sort of in this sort of, I don't want to call it back around the bench way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she was invited by Melody. So what do you guys think? So Carlos then gets into what happened in Destiny's divorce. And we talked about that, about how, Destiny said that, her husband was supposed to leave and cleave. Okay. Now, Destiny was the one that actually said that she couldn't actually talk about it on the show, but she could talk about it on Carlos King's show. Okay. So she goes on to talk about the whole leave and cleave thing and being the third person in the marriage. And Carlos asked if, this was about his mother and if his mother was meddling in the marriage and if she tried to make him choose between her and the mom. And Destiny said, if you try to make him choose, you'll never win. So Carlos very shadily turns to Latisha and says, Latisha, you can relate. Your mother's all up in your marriage. What advice would you give Destiny? Should she have stayed in her marriage? Destiny says it's different because it's Latisha's mama in question. So then Carlos asked Destiny about Melody, saying that she saw a utility bill on Destiny's door and that she gave her upwards of $6,000. Now, for those of you guys who don't recall, Melody and Monique were actually on the very first episode of the Nightcap with Carlos King. And we learned from Melody here. And I think a lot of people also knew from social media in some way, shape, or form. But we learned from Melody that, she saw the utility bill on Destiny's door and ended up giving her money. Well, Destiny ended up clarifying exactly how that happened, or at least she has a slightly different version of the story. She says that Melody didn't give her that money all at once. She sent her $1,000. And Destiny says she was very emotional because, she thought what a friendly thing to do. And then she was in a custody battle. And then Melody gave her more money for her attorneys. And then the last part of that money was for sponsorships. So I'm assuming it was for business. So Carlos asks, do you feel like it was messy of Melody to share that with the world? And so Destiny says, I feel like it was the lowest of lows. I want to be clear about the friendship. Melanie and I both know where the bodies are buried. I just choose not to tell where hers are. Okay. Okay. So Carlos, of course, is like, got some questions. He's like, and by bodies, do you mean male bodies? And Destiny sips on her drink and says, I just know where the bodies are buried. Okay. And so then Carlos continues. And speaking of lows, Latisha, Melody said that your father was in her DMs. Did you know that? It was the did you know that for me. Okay. It was the did you know that for me. Latisha says, well, if she's excited about getting attention from an older man, she can have it. Everybody in the world has seen her, her areolas or whatever. And I'm like, well, when did we see that? Anyway, she goes on to say, so I guess he tried to shoot his shot and he's a single man and he can do whatever he wants to do. Carlos was like, can he do melody? Letitia's like, listen, Van wanted Mark, so maybe she might want my dad. Who knows? They like to spread it and bust. They like no, she said they like to spread it wide and bust it. See, now that was at the end of what Letitia said. You had to listen carefully to hear her say they like to spread it wide and bust it. Not drop it low and spread it wide. Lord have mercy. Talking about Melody and the mama. Lord have mercy. What in the world? Carlos knew the questions to ask these ladies. Let me tell you that. Okay. And not the part about Van wanting Mark. Mm. Anyway, Carlos said, would you sign up for Melody playing stepmother? And Letitia says she would be the evil stepmother. So then Winter comes out and they discuss Love and Marriage DC. Apparently, we learned that she did not kiss Kevin, her husband, until they got engaged. And I'm like, what? Girl, see, listen, that's even adding more insult to injury. So you did not know where he lived at. You did not see his apartment. You didn't even kiss this man until you got engaged. Girl, what? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand that. How you ain't kissing before y'all got engaged? What was y'all doing? Like holding hands all this time? Like what? I don't really understand that. Don't tell me because it was because of the panorama. Because I mean, you about to marry this person. You need to be all up in their saliva and their mouth. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We had to go there. We got to be real about this thing now. Okay. How you gonna get engaged to somebody? I'm not saying yes to you and I ain't kissed you. What mess is that? Anyway, Carlos asked if she felt like Ashley had been very mean to her thus far, and Winter says she's very shady. She does come across a little mean girlish, and Ashley has no problem dishing it, but she can't take it. So Carlos then asked Destiny, "Are you single or are you dating?" So she mentions that she could relate to, Winter and the abstinence thing, and Carlos mentions, "Well, there's a picture of you and a man floating around on the internet streets. So girl, are you dating?" So she smiles and says, "I am." Okay, but my question is, are we gonna see him on the show? Okay, is we gonna see him on the show? Now I told her I'm gonna give her a grace period of a couple of months before we have to see him on the show. Okay, now if it don't last longer than 3 months, I'm say we ain't got to see him on the show. But if it's lasting longer than 3 months, and I might have said longer in the interview, I don't remember, but I'm coming up with new rules. I changed. Okay, all right, I'm not the same person I was yesterday, so I got a different opinion today. Okay. Anyway, she says he's all man, and she says that she can be a real woman and feels like she can submit to this kind of man. Winter says that she believes both Jamie and Arena had a little playtime on the side. She says it seems like they both philandered and they gonna stick beside each other. She was like, but it's fine. I support it. I was like, oh girl, you going all the way. And then Carlos says, well, Monique, that's how you stay married for 26 years. That's the answer to the question that you all wanted to know at the party. I'm like, Carlos, you are throwing just the right level of shade. And it's just, let me tell you, my cup runneth over. Okay. So Miss Wanda gets a segment called Word on the Street with Miss Wanda. And I don't even know what she was talking about, to be honest with you. She said something about Winter losing half her brains with her hair or whatever. And then something about she can teach the girls how to do something with a bottle or something like that. I really don't know. The only thing I know about a bottle is Lil Kim saying she can make a Sprite can disappear in her mouth. Okay. Now, if you're doing all of that, and them type of things, I'm here for this type of carrying on, okay? But I don't know what you're gonna do with the spin the bottle. Anyway, Winter says she was fine with the comment from Miss Wanda because she respects her elders. So Carlos says, Tisha, when you saw Monique say that Miss Wanda needs to go get a man, were you offended by that? Destiny, Latisha smartly does not answer this question. Destiny chimes in and says, Miss Wanda got like 10 men, don't she? Latisha then says she's got a boyfriend and a husband. She don't have those problems. And I was like, ooh, Latisha, you was very smart for steering away from that conversation. Because that was one of those questions that can be like, oh, let me open the door and see if you walk into the shade. Okay. And Letitia did not walk into the shade. She played it. Letitia played it cute last night. She really, really did. But the scene from next week, baby, when the Scots get into it with when Marceau and Letitia get into it with Kiki, baby, this is an episode you will not want to miss. Okay. Now we're gonna talk about this week's episode, but next week's episode looks lit. Okay. And we learn that Letitia actually has zero relationship with Kiki at this point. Like they don't even talk. And so then Carlos ended with a read of the night. Never sacrifice your class to get even with someone who has none. And I don't know why I felt like he was talking about Monique and D.L. Hughley, but I could be wrong. Let me know what y'all think in the chatterization down below. But that is our recap of the Nightcap with Carlos King. It was very good. If you haven't checked it out, definitely go and do so. Carlos, keep giving us this content, baby, because we love it. We love it. We're gonna lap it all the way up. We running with this, baby. Let's keep it going. All right. With that being said, y'all, we're gonna catch y'all in the next video, and be sure to tune in at 11 a.m. for, or around about 11, for our recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville season 4, episode 11. Okay, be sure to tap in for that. We're gonna do that live, and also be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hit the notification bell button, and be sure to visit amirin.com and get our CMOS capsules at 40% off with the code WANDA. I'm not going to keep that code up much longer, so tap on into it while you can. All right. We will catch you guys in the next video.